y'all. Welcome to Killer Queens, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Tyrella, and like most millennials, I've always had an obsession with true crime. On KQ, you'll find light true crime stories, millennial hypes and gripes, some adult language, and maybe a special guest here and there. Just like a 90s sleepover, we're just a couple BFFs hanging out. So gather round and let's launch right into it. In 1991, Kathy Page was found dead in her car in Vidor, Texas. Her death staged to look like an accident. Decades later, her murder remains unsolved, but her father's fight for justice and the billboards he raised along I-10 made the case impossible to ignore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and in this one, guys, I'm going to be telling Nikita this case. She does not know not one thing about it.
Not one thing.
So, and it's a pretty crazy case.
Is this the one that has, like, is there an HBO series about this one? Billboards in Texas?
There's a movie.
Okay. I haven't watched it, so I still don't know, but.
Okay. And I think the movie was kind of based on it, but well, and you know what? That's where we'll start. And also, thank you to Mark for writing this one up.
Hey, girl, thanks.
And he's going to start off by hurting your feelings. The first line is, in the late 1990s, which feels like a slap in the face to me.
Yeah, that feels hurtful and unnecessary. So we won't be having Mark write any more of these.
Yeah, that was the late 1990s was a mere 10 years ago. So
that was 2 weeks ago, actually. Thank you so much.
Obviously. But a British-Irish playwright was on a cross-country trip of the United States. And so he's going through Texas, and along I-10, he saw something interesting. There were all these billboards set up, but not, they're not advertising like Cracker Barrel, pull over, now, next exit or whatever. They were super accusatory. So they talked about a woman, Kathy Page. They said that she was murdered by her husband, Steve. And I mean, it's just like big ass letters like Steve Page raped and murdered my daughter.
Okay. I didn't realize these billboards were going to be so, I don't want to say aggressive because, I mean, if he's right. But that feels very accusatory, like you said. Bold.
Very much.
That's bold.
They're bold. And he didn't stop at Steve Page. No. He also accused the police of doing a terrible job, which I agree with, and of not wanting to solve the murder. And so the playwright, Martin McDonough, I guess is maybe how you say his name. He was like, obviously they stuck with him, and there's a lot of them. So as he's driving, he's seeing several of them. And he said initially in an interview that the billboards, the like emotion that they set forth could only have come from a mother, like a mother's pain and rage from losing her daughter. Turns out he was wrong. It was Kathy's father.
Oh, okay.
But he just thought, like they were just so raw and emotional.
Well, I mean, I would say dads can be emotional too.
Oh, sure.
And I would say that, Sean gets emotional about the things that I don't. Not that I don't get emotional about them, but we do tend to have explosive emotions about different things. So, maybe the mom responded differently and the dad was like, not on my watch.
Well, exactly. I mean, he just like literally went right to work. So the billboards that he saw in Vidor, Texas became the baseline for the movie Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
So Kathy's dad, Jim, had put them up, obviously. And so Martin ended up, because when he saw them initially thought, only the pain of a mother, he ended up sticking with that for his movie. So like in the movie, it's the victim's mother that puts them up. It's set in a fictional town in Missouri and tells the story of Mildred Hayes, whose daughter was raped and murdered. There's no progress made on the case. She puts up the billboard. She calls out the local police. There's a lot more to the movie than that. It stars Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell, and Peter Dinklage, among others. It received critical acclaim, and at the Golden Globes that year earned awards for Best Actress, Frances McDormand, Best Picture in the Drama category, Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, Sam Rockwell. Oh, wow. Then Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell got Oscars for it.
Oh.
Woody Harrelson was nominated in the Best Supporting Actor category. It was nominated for Best Picture, but it did lose that year. So it racked up.
Man, well, now I feel bad that I haven't seen it.
I know. And I haven't watched it yet because,
Yeah.
Because of all reasons. Lots of reasons. That's the movie version.
Okay.
But the real version takes place in Vidor, Texas.
Where is that?
I mean, no bigger than your mama's Jack Russell.
Okay.
It's teeny tiny. It's a small town along Interstate 10. If you blink, you'll miss it. It was established primarily as a lumber town, and now it serves as a small bedroom community for people employed in larger nearby cities like Beaumont, which also...
Where is that?
Who's she?
Never heard
Today,
of her.
it's a small, close-knit community, but in the past, Vidor was described as a sundown town.
Oh.
Yes.
Don't feel good about that.
Right. For anybody who doesn't know, a sundown town is any town, city, or suburb that has a history of intentionally excluding racial and ethnic minorities from living within its borders, often by enforcing racial covenants or quote-unquote sundown signs and warnings that enforced leaving by sunset. When a judge ordered 36 counties to desegregate, including public housing in Vidor, the KKK responded by holding rallies in support of an all-white Vidor, Texas. So
sounds right. Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, I was going to say, we love that. Really setting the tone.
Exactly. So, and I think they are still working to move away from that. But my God, it is.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that you don't think are present
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just it's insane. Okay.
Yeah.
So this brings us to Kathy Page. She was 34 years old when she was murdered. Kathy had 2 children, Aaron and Monica, that were her daughters with her husband, Steve. She worked at the Hofbrau restaurant, a local place in nearby Beaumont, and was a lifelong Vidor resident. Anyone who met Kathy said that she was warm, she was funny, she was a social butterfly. She was the person who could make you laugh when you were having a bad day, but most importantly to her, she was a loving mother who just wanted her 2 daughters to have the best childhood that they could.
Aww.
Kathy and Steve at this point had been married for several years. Some places you'll read 11, some say 13, so a while.
Though.
Yeah. And from the outside looking in, yeah. They appeared to be like this normal middle-class American family. Things are obviously not always what they seem.
Right.
And behind closed doors, things were not good. So neighbors would report nights of arguments. They would hear screaming. Friends and family have also said that Steve would get physical with Kathy. They frequently argued about money, and Steve's reported infidelity. And by the end, their relationship had deteriorated to the point where Steve was just sleeping on the couch every night. So eventually Kathy was like, look, this isn't working.
Right.
We have to separate, not just for myself, but I need to set this example for my daughters as well. Sherry, Kathy's sister, would later testify that Kathy told Steve that she wanted a divorce on May the 6th, 1991, and then just over a week later, she would be dead. We are talking about, that just gave me chills, and I'm not trying to be all full body chills, but legitimately it did, because we know this to be true. The most dangerous time in a woman's life is when she is leaving a man.
Yes.
And this was such a fresh separation. This was not they'd been divorced for years. This was not they'd even separated years ago.
Yeah.
It was a week.
Yeah, that's crazy. And even if they had been to the point that he was sleeping on the couch every night, even if that had been going on for months, almost a year, even no matter how long that had been going on, I feel like at that point, there is still at least probably some part of his thoughts, maybe even hers, that okay, we can still fix this. We're still under the same roof. We're still, you know what I mean? That's not separation. That's we're having a disagreement and we're figuring it out, that's not a break in the relationship.
Right. This is she wants a divorce.
Yeah.
They find an apartment. By the time she is murdered, most of his stuff is moved into it.
Wow.
They did, though, try to remain friendly in front of the kids, and they tried to still in some way co-parent the best that they could.
Good.
So,
good for them. I think that would be the hard part is being nice to each other in front of your kids. I will say my parents divorced. I don't recall my parents being together ever at any time. And the thought of them having ever been married or together is insane to me. I'm like, no wonder you guys divorced, because what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But my parents were always incredible co-parents in front of me. Now, I'm sure there was plenty of arguing and whatever behind the scenes, but I never saw that and they never let me see that. Yeah. And so that is very normal to me. But now as an adult with children.
Like you see like how much work that had to.
And I am happily married. And even just whenever we disagree, I'm just always thinking like, okay, how do I show my children how to disagree with your partner when all I want to do is scream at you? And we're not a screaming family. But I mean, I don't think I appreciated that as a kid, but man, that's hard. That's hard work. Yeah. That's hard work when you're not even trying to divorce them, when you're just mad at them.
Exactly. Like, it definitely seemed like maybe on both of their parts, at least on her part, that she was really trying to
make the effort.
Yeah, make that effort.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to jump forward to the morning of May the 14th. So a passerby noticed that off of a side road, there was a car nose down in a ditch. And so they called the police.
Right.
It was about 100 yards from the Page home, and it was facing away from the house.
Okay.
But it was a super weird scene, because if the car had like run off the road, you would expect like some damage to the car, maybe some tire marks on the road. There were no indications that the brakes had even been applied as the car went into the ditch.
Oh.
And the car itself did not appear to have any damage on it. Like, there were no dents. There was no
interesting
damage. The windshield wasn't splintered, like nothing.
Yeah.
The car was in perfect shape except for a few scrapes and two what a burger. Wow. What a burger cups on the floorboard.
Okay.
Which we'll get to that too. But right from the start, the scene looked like we don't have a car accident. We have a car that just slowly, carefully, ever so gently rolled into this ditch and stopped. In the driver's seat was Kathy Page. Her purse was beside her, upright in the seat. Her head was tilted, leaning against the headrest. She's leaning back. She's not leaning forward.
How does that work if you're nose down? Isn't that what you said?
Completely nose down.
In a ditch.
And I mean, it's not like standing straight up, but
she
should have been leaning forward.
If it's leaning at all and you're deceased, wouldn't you be leaning as well? Like, if the seatbelt is on you, like, you should be like kind of falling forward or something.
You'd be and she wasn't. There was a little blood on the headrest as well. She had blood on the back of her head. No other blood was visible in the car, though. And the driver's seat was inclined, they said, too far for someone to have been driving. But it's still so weird that everything is leaning forward and she is still
leaning back. Yeah.
It's weird.
So was the front seat laid down? I mean, I know you said it was reclined, but like...
It was inclined.
Oh.
Yeah, not reclined. Yeah. Okay. So very odd.
Okay.
Kathy had markings on her neck consistent with somebody who had been strangled. Her nose was broken.
Okay.
Investigators would find transfer blood on the inside of her clothing. So that indicated that she had been killed, bled, and then redressed. They also found a blade of grass stuck to the bottom of the back of her jeans.
Okay.
Which could possibly indicate that she'd been drugged through grass. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's not even lunchtime and I can't.
I know.
I can't differentiate between an R and an L.
Well, and I can't help you because you're telling me the story.
I know. You'll just have to guess.
You're on your own, kid.
Yeah.
You always have been.
Here is something else that's weird. Oh, yeah, right. Always have been. Kathy didn't have on any makeup. She wasn't wearing her watch and she wasn't wearing any jewelry, including her wedding band. Kathy was not the kind of girl that was going to leave her house without being fully done up.
Oh, okay.
She had never done it. She was never going to do it.
Can't relate.
I can tell you confidently, if you find my body somewhere without makeup on, I went home first and washed it off. Or I came from home. Because I don't leave my house without makeup on.
Oh, see,
it doesn't even matter how sick I am.
I will live the sewer rat life. If I don't feel like it, I'm not going to.
I don't know how to do that anymore.
It's a lot of work. Okay, really what it is I'm lazy and I don't want to have to wash it off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's usually
I developed
issue.
this like complex once I had Ben, and I was like so afraid that I would just stop trying because I didn't have time, which is like just a whole thing for myself. Not wearing makeup doesn't mean you've stopped trying. There's like, there's a lot that goes back to all the things.
I know what you mean though.
And
but that's
even
your
my
way
therapist
of
was like, yeah. And even my therapist was like, we need to get to the point where one day you come in without makeup on. And I was like, you can fuck off. I'm not doing that. Like, I simply will not do that. I get that that's probably healthy to be able to do, but I'm never going to be able to do that.
I would be like, say less. I will come in here in my pajamas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't do that. So Kathy was the same way. She was not going to go anywhere without her makeup on. Everybody knew something was up with that. So her body is transported to the hospital. Her car was taken in. So the detectives go to the Page home and Steve answers the door. Now, remember, he's living at an apartment complex right now.
Right.
But he's at home with the girls.
Okay.
And he immediately was like, oh, Kathy's not home. Like, is this about her? Is there something
Was that
going on?
uncommon for him to have been? I mean, I guess it was really only a week. So it's hard to say if that was uncommon or not. But would it have been weird for him to be there with the girls if she wasn't there?
Yeah. So we'll get to the whole timeline, but she had asked him to babysit that night because she was going to go out with friends.
Okay.
So he answers the door and, you know, again, this is an estranged spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a very new separation, like you said, but we need to look closely at this man.
Yeah, 100%. Because I feel like even if they were already fully divorced and had been for a while, if she doesn't have a new partner, even if she does have a new partner, I feel like you still look at the ex-spouse, former partner, because that is still the father of her children. Like, he's still very much involved in her life. Like, why would you not default there to put him in the circle of immediate suspects?
Yeah, they're not going to do that though. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not an investigator, so I guess what do I know?
Prepare your heart and soul for that.
Okay.
All right. So at different times, Steve would talk about what happened in the days leading up to Kathy's murder. So on May the 12th, the whole family went to the beach for Mother's Day. And then after Steve fried some shrimp at home, he did end up going to sleep at the apartment that night. But by all accounts, they got along well that day. They made it a great beach day for the girls. They celebrated Mother's Day together as a family. Like, again, they're really working on this co-parenting thing. Yeah. The morning of the 13th, Steve went to the house. He helps the girls get ready for school. He dropped them off. He then made some business calls. He returned to the house before noon. In the afternoon, he and Kathy washed the car together. They drove separately to the local ball fields because both girls played games, but their games were at, different times slightly. Kathy left the fields first after Monica's game ended, and then Steve stayed until Aaron's game ended around 9 p.m. Steve arrived back at the house between 9:30 and 10.
But by all accounts, it seems like they're both working on making this work for the girls at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
So Kathy calls a friend, Charlotte, and told her that she was going to go out for the night and reminded her not to answer the phone if Steve called her. Oh. Kathy was going out to meet a man that she had been seeing. So there is a little bit of, it definitely seemed like they had been either like kind of separated for longer. And then she finally was like, you've got to move out and we've got to really get a divorce, or maybe emotionally detached from the relationship. I don't know. I did read that Kathy and Steve met. They were both married to other people and they had an affair. And then that's how they got together. I mean, and then they stayed married for like 12, 13 years. But I don't know.
But either way, there may have been some overlap with a new potential partner.
Yeah.
Prior to divorce, but during separation, maybe.
Possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Around 2:30, Charlotte's phone rang, but when she picked it up, the caller hung up, and this had happened many times before. She assumed it was Steve. He does this sort of thing.
Okay.
In the course of their investigation, the investigators learned that Kathy had met a man at a hotel in Beaumont that night, and she had left the hotel around 2:30 in the morning wearing the same clothing that she was found in, except for the socks. She was found in different socks. And when she left the hotel, she had on her watch, her earrings, her rings, and her makeup. And Kathy's sister said that Kathy never took off her wedding band, but her bedtime routine was to shower, remove her makeup and jewelry, including her earrings.
Okay.
So just put a pin in that. Okay, so when Kathy left that night, who watched the girls? That was Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So here is his story. He said he left the house around 10:30, but Kathy had called him to come back and watch the girls so she could go out with Charlotte. So that would be why she was like, if he calls you, don't answer.
Don't answer. Yeah.
He thinks I'm with you. When he got back to the house.
The house?
The house. I don't know what's happening to me. Okay. When he got back to the house, he said that Kathy was in a towel after having taken a shower.
Okay.
And he says he and Kathy had sex in the living room on the carpet.
Okay.
Now, remember, we know
but this
that
is
Kathy
right before she's going to meet up with her
boyfriend at a hotel.
Okay. I mean, maybe it happened. It could have happened. You never know.
I doubt it.
But maybe.
Because when you've got the guy you're trying to leave and you're like, get this motherfucker away from me.
Yeah.
And then you got the guy that you're going to meet and you're like, that's the one I want to have sex with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like then you have sex with this guy. But again, maybe so. And then you still go have sex with this guy. Maybe so.
Maybe.
Unlikely, but maybe so.
It's possible.
But that's what he says.
Okay.
So he says Kathy leaves the house between 11:15 and 11:30. She was wearing a gray blouse, white pants, white shoes, a watch, earrings, and her wedding band. He watched TV around until midnight, he said, and then he went to bed. He says that Kathy never came home. Charlotte said that Steve called her between 5:30 and 6 in the morning, asking where was Kathy because she never came home. And Charlotte said, well, we went out and she left around 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Charlotte called the hotel where Kathy had met the man, but nobody answered. And then just after that, the police get there and they tell Steve that Kathy is deceased.
Okay.
Okay. I have some problems.
Okay.
I have a lot of problems.
So many.
But when they get there and they talk to Steve, they give him so much information. They're like, hey, we found Kathy. She's dead. She's in a car. The car was parked nose down. Like, it seemed like they were giving him a lot of information rather than just being like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
When's the last time you talked to her? Like,
yeah,
they just gave him all this information. It feels like they never even considered that he could have had something to do with it. So they were just giving him all this information.
Not like hey, she was found. We're investigating. This is okay. All right.
That is not even the worst.
Oh.
That's the least of our worries right now.
Got it. Okay, great.
When they got to the scene, a crime scene, because they find a deceased person in a vehicle
alone.
And it looks like it's a setup.
Yeah.
You want to photograph it.
Yeah.
Right? You want to photograph everything. They didn't do that. I read a couple different things that either the person who was supposed to be doing the photography forgot film altogether, just had not put film in the camera, so there was no film.
Okay.
There might have been a little bit left in the thing and those didn't come out. Like there were literally no photos at all.
But you had one job.
You had one job.
And it was photography.
And wouldn't you then just be like, hold please,
don't
let me go
move
fucking
anything,
get it?
I'll be back. Because this is a tiny town, right? Like
teeny tiny.
Okay.
They did not do that.
Okay. Carry on.
It just, whether, to Kathy's family, they did this on purpose because they didn't want to solve it. Whether they did it intentionally, whether it was incompetence, it's still absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
And they never tried to make that right. So then they just they cart Kathy off to the hospital.
Yeah.
They cart the car up. Like, we don't have any photos. So then we just have to rely on people who were there being like, well, I remember her being sat this way, or like those Whataburger cups that were in the floorboard. They weren't knocked over. They were still up. Like,
why does the family think that the town wouldn't want to solve it?
Well, we'll get to that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So,
That's all right.
I
Fine.
know. So when they go and they tell Steve, hey, we found Kathy and she's deceased and this is how we found her. And here are all of the fucking details that you might need to know. So we'll never know if you knew these without us telling you.
Right.
They also don't search the house. And they don't search his apartment either.
Sure. Why would you?
There are mentions that Steve declined or outright refused to allow the home to be searched. But there were also articles that say they never even tried. Like, they were just like, well, we're just telling you this information and leaving.
Okay. Even if he didn't allow you to search the house in that moment, okay, fine. You can still get a warrant and go back and do it. And if you've got a mysterious death, why would a judge not give you a warrant to be like, this is suspicious. We have no leads. We don't know where to start here. We would like to look around the house to see if there is something that might clue us in.
Yeah. And it's not like they found her in the vehicle 20 miles away. They found it less than 100 yards away. He could have walked back while his kids were sleeping. Yeah, we need to look into this. So later, there were reports that Steve had said that he didn't want the police to search because he knew that they would find Kathy's blood. But it's not what you think. Nothing happened. It's just that there was a bunch of her blood on the carpet in the living room from when she cut herself shaving her legs. Because she shaved her legs, as I'm sure you also do, I do, in the living room. Yeah. On the carpet.
Naturally, where else would I shave my legs? That's the shave leg spot. Everybody knows that. Yeah. Also, how much blood are we talking about? Because did you cut an artery?
I know. I have cut myself shaving. But not to the point that they would be like, is this murder or did you shave your legs?
Yeah. I have cut myself bad shaving one time and it was it was one of those double blade razors. And so I had like 2 perfect parallel lines and it just, it was rough and it did drip blood. Not enough for you to think, holy crap, someone tried to kill her, but enough to be like, damn girl, you okay? Yeah. I feel like there's a difference.
Now, Andrew cut himself shaving his head one time.
Oh.
I don't know if I must not have ever sent you this picture. It was terrible. Because, now that he's bald, he shaves his head. He has shaved his head a lot. He was shaving his head one morning, getting ready for schoolwork, whatever. And he just starts cursing up a storm. And I was like, hey, the kids can hear you, whatever. I look at him. I mean, there's blood all over his head. It looked really, because your head bleeds.
Your head bleeds a lot. Yeah.
And there was blood everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. And so he had, I guess, snagged something in the back. It's a huge, several inches long. And it was an inch or so, maybe more thick.
Oh God.
And that whole thing of skin came off.
Oh no, I would throw up.
He's got a big scar there. Let me tell you, I have never seen skin like that without blood flow. It's gray. It's disgusting. It was horrific. And I was like, oh my God. And so I bandage him up and everything. It was really bad. So that.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of blood.
But still not murder level.
Still not murder. Yeah. That was crazy. But yeah. So anyway, he said she bled a lot from shaving her. Now, if she cut a huge chunk of skin off like that, again, maybe I could see some of that. But anyway, but that's not all. So the day after Kathy was found on May the 15th, her sister Sherry goes to the house. And initially, Kathy's family did not think that Steve did this initially. They certainly didn't want to believe that he did it. But initially, they were not when she was found dead, they were not immediately oh my God, Steve did this. So they go over to the house and they want to see the girls and they want to be there for everybody and all this stuff. When she was there, a friend of Steve's came in with a manila envelope and he and Steve go into the bedroom and the girls' bedrooms. And as they're walking, Sherry could hear what sounded like metal clinking in the envelope, jewelry, watches, earrings, wouldn't put into an envelope. Steve and the friend said that it was a bag of candy that he had brought for the girls.
Okay.
Which was weird. She also mentioned that when Steve answered the door, she noticed a strong smell cleaning, some sort of cleaning materials. And that Steve was cleaning the carpet. There were fans in the kitchen, pointed at that area to try to dry the carpet. He was deep cleaning the carpet.
Clean, shampooed the carpet.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was another witness who said that someone from the Page family had rented a carpet cleaner. And that employee said that there was no one else with this person at the time. Another employee would later testify that Steve returned the carpet cleaner with 2 women and a little girl.
Okay.
And after Kathy's funeral, people said that Steve and his family had continued to clean the carpet. And now remember all the things. He said he and Kathy had sex on the carpet right the night before.
Where she bled all over the carpet.
Then he said she shaved her legs and bled all over the carpet at some point. now he's cleaning the carpet and people are like, because I think somebody like from their church had come by too.
Yeah.
And he was telling this person as well, like, oh yeah, I was cooking and I spilled some grease, a lot of grease.
Okay.
And so I'm cleaning the grease out of this carpet.
Okay. Were you cooking on the coffee table, like a campfire? What do you do? How?
He said that after he'd cooked the shrimp, remember how he cooked the shrimp?
Yeah.
He was going to take the grease outside. And so he walked through the living room to do that. But Jim, Kathy's dad, was like, why would you walk through that way? There was another side door that was much closer. And you would have, if you had spilled anything, it would have been on linoleum, not your fucking carpet.
Okay.
There's no reason to go through the living room.
If we spilled shrimp grease, wouldn't our house smell like shrimp?
Like shrimp grease?
Yeah.
One would think.
Okay.
And it didn't. It smelled like just
carpet cleaner.
He also noted that Jim, this is Kathy's dad, that when Steve, his mom, his sister, and his sister-in-law, 4 people, were working on this stain, they're all working on it together, by the way.
Oh.
They were concentrating on just one spot. It wasn't a trail. So remember, he said he was walking and he spilled it, but there was it was just, and okay, say you're walking, you're holding it, you trip and it all spills in one spot.
It's still kind of a big spot, though, I would think. There would be some splatter, some residue. But no?
No, there's no splatter. There's no. And the grease was in a jar with a lid. And so various people said that the jar was dropped, which again, like you said, there would be some sort of like spatter or it would go somewhere and it's as he's walking, but it's just one little spot.
Okay.
And,
sure.
It's interesting because the grease would have happened. So the shaving her legs, cutting would have happened, I guess, earlier than this.
Okay.
But then they had sex in the exact same spot the night before she died.
Right.
But the grease would have happened the day before.
Right.
So they fucked on the grease spot.
And she shaved her legs on it. This spot in the living room feels cursed, I feel like.
Or like, is there some sort of magnetic pull?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's super weird.
Also, okay, you said her family's helping clean this carpet. A grease stain looks very different than a blood stain.
It damn sure does.
So what are we seeing? Because presumably her family would want to know what happened. So what did they see?
By the time they got there, it
had probably been cleaned so much that
had been being cleaned.
Okay.
His family maintains its grease.
Okay. Sure.
I personally don't believe them.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe by the time they got to it, they believed that it was grease.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't fucking buy it.
Okay. Sure.
I don't buy it. Another thing to note is that Kathy's mother said the day that after Kathy's murder, she saw Steve washing clothes while all of this is going on as well. And while that's obviously not a crime, it just seemed weird. And when he answered the door, which this is not necessarily weird in and of itself, but when he answered the door when the police got there, he was in his boxers. Which, if he had been asleep and he just slept in his boxers, okay, fine. But it does appear that the clothes that he had been wearing the night before, supposedly when he had sex with Kathy, in the grease spot, and the leg shaving blood spot, those are the clothes that he would have been washing at that time. I would love to be able to say that the police were like, we need to take whatever clothes you were wearing yesterday to be sure, but they didn't.
Did you not bring extra clothes? You knew you were going to be there overnight, right?
Right.
Do you not have some clothes still there? Do you not?
And if you didn't know you were going to be there overnight, like he did expect her to come back, but it's possible that he planned to stay the night. But if you didn't expect to be there overnight, okay.
Yeah.
But then why were you not raising any alarm bells necessarily? That like
she told me she'd be home at midnight and now it's 2 a.m. and I haven't heard from her. Why are we not concerned?
He did call Charlotte the one time.
Yeah.
But then he called her again, but he doesn't call anybody else. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Investigators asked Steve to authorize an autopsy, but he refused. He said he didn't want anyone cutting on her. That in and of itself is not necessarily suspicious. There are lots of people for lots of different reasons where they don't believe in that. It's just that things are starting to add up. But Kathy's father, Jim, authorized it.
Okay, good. Because she died alone at this point. I mean, at this point, there are no witnesses.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. So the autopsy showed that Kathy did have sex the night that she died. Now, remember, this is in early 90s. The man she met that night came into the police station. He did confirm they had sex that night. He cooperated fully. He passed a polygraph, which, you know, who cares, but he did.
But good for him.
The autopsy report also showed that the person that she last had sex with had a vasectomy. Now, they can't at that point, they don't have like direct, you know, DNA necessarily, but they could tell that he'd had a vasectomy, I guess, because it was like blanks.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you, in the early 90s, you could tell that?
I don't know.
But the man that she was dating had not had a vasectomy, but Steve had.
Oh, okay.
But remember, Steve already kind of like, well, he was like, but we did have consensual sex.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So Jim, Kathy's dad, heard Steve talking about not wanting the police in the house because of the blood from the shaving. And that he knew that the department had planted evidence on his friends in the past. So he's very suspicious of the department. Jim was like,
this is the husband, whatever.
Yeah, Steve's the ex-husband. Okay. Yeah. And Jim's like, dude, just like let them search. They're trying to figure out what happened. Like, don't you want them to figure out what happened? And he's like, I mean,
this
I don't want
the mother of your children.
A few days after the funeral, Steve was burning some things in the backyard and people saw this.
Okay.
He said it was towels that had been ruined trying to clean up the grease.
Put some Dawn dish soap on those towels. That's how you get grease out of literally fucking anything. Okay.
And why would you burn? Like, okay, if they're just ruined
them?
And you're not going to
throw them away.
Just throw them away.
Or now those are what we call like the old towels for when I need a towel, but I don't want to use a good towel to clean up whatever. That's a mess towel now.
Exactly. Years later, a luminol test was done in the home and soil tests were done where the fire had been. And I mean, the results are inconclusive, but of course they were at this point. So annoying. Throughout the investigation, Steve's story
changes
several times. Times changed, what he did changed, but they were never able to bring charges against him.
Of course not.
So what does Kathy's family think happened? They believe that Kathy came back home after she left the hotel. So they think Steve was already asleep. And when she went to take off her makeup, her jewelry, all of that before bed, he woke up.
Okay.
They believe that he confronted her about this possible boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
It turned physical, leading to Steve raping and killing Kathy. In some reports, neighbors reported hearing screaming that night and a loud thud sound. Their best estimation is that after raping Kathy, he slammed her head against the living room floor while choking her, which would then cause that blood stain that they were working on so diligently. And the injury to the back of her head, which caused that small amount of blood transfer on the headrest in the car.
Okay.
He then redressed her, but he forgot to put her jewelry back on her. And then he staged the accident. And then, of course, again, the like unlikelihood that she would have been out, especially on a date without her makeup on, all of those things.
How did that not wake up the kids, though, if the neighbors heard it? Would be my question.
Kids are wild, you know?
That's true. I mean, I'm not saying that as like obviously he didn't do it because the kids would have heard it, but like.
Yeah. And maybe it does sound like they fought, they screamed a lot. Maybe that was something the kids were like kind of used to, but
that's true.
There are definitely times where I'm like, oh my God, the kids are going to wake up from whatever this noise is.
Or,
and just sleep through it.
Now that I think about it, even if they did wake up and come out there, if he was just like, oh, mom fell down, just go back to bed, mom fell.
Taking a nap. Yeah. I mean, I think, and they were fairly young at this point.
Yeah.
Steve claimed that he received threats after, okay. Get ready for your what the fuck?
Okay.
He says he started getting threats after Kathy's death from a man. The man's Italian family was prominent in the Beaumont area, and they were rumors that they were part of the mafia. He called it the Beaumont Mafia.
That sounds fun. How do we join that?
Exactly. There has never been, from what I can tell, there has never been any evidence whatsoever of a Beaumont Mafia at all but he decided that was the way he needed to go with that. So he was like, no, there's a...
Why? I'm assuming he's trying to set this up as like, this was the boyfriend's family, right? Why would they care so much to call and threaten him if they were just dating and she turned up dead? Like, why would you not want... why would your family want to get involved in that? He went down to the station. He did everything they asked him to do. So why would they then, you know what I mean?
Steve's clearly not trying to solve this murder. Exactly. He's not leading the way. Like, you'd think if they were going to call and threaten anybody, it's going to be Jim because he's out there pounding the pavement, talking to people, putting up billboards. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
In 1991, the tools available to investigators to put together a concrete case weren't limited. DNA is not the courtroom trump card that it will later become at this time, of course. Mm-hmm. Trace evidence has to be collected perfectly to mean anything. And this case is a really good example of what happens when the police just don't do their job the way they're supposed to do. Like, clearly there should be, and again, this is a teeny tiny town. There's not a lot of homicides that they're working. I know that affects things, but there should still be policies and procedures in place. Yeah. And there are lots of cases. We talked about it in the yogurt shop murders. That was also in 1991, wasn't it? And either 91 or 92. And they did save that DNA. Mm-hmm. And that DNA 30 years later solved the case. So it was on the radar of investigators. It was not what it is today.
No,
but they didn't even try. They just didn't even try.
This is one of those, like, okay, it's a small town. Okay, we're not used to investigating murders. Okay, this is kind of out of our wheelhouse. Fine, whatever. But like, this one doesn't even pass the most basic like sniff test situation. Like, nothing about what you walked upon makes any kind of sense. Like, if she died in a car wreck because she drove into a ditch, the body doesn't appear to be matching up with any injuries that would have been significant enough to cause that. The condition of the vehicle doesn't appear to be matched up with anything consistent with a car wreck that would have killed her. Like, none of this makes sense. And no one thought to look at this and be like, this is strange.
Exactly. It just doesn't like...
They were just like, bingo bongo, car wreck, she's dead. Obviously, that's what happened. Dunsies.
Yeah. And they kept the investigation open, but they didn't appear to
do anything.
Like, it wasn't going anywhere. They weren't questioning people. They weren't, and I don't want to say that obviously somebody committed this crime when we don't have the hard evidence to support it. But as an investigator, if you're looking at it, you start from the inner circle, you work your way out. Yeah. It seems pretty obvious that Steve Page had the means, the motive, and the opportunity. It doesn't mean that he did it, but we need to look into it.
But we didn't even try to clear him.
No. Nothing. Okay. It's just insane. So Jim Fulton, over the years, is like, okay, the case is open, but absolutely nothing is happening. So first he started with signs, and then he was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going billboards. I'm doing billboards.
I love it.
He wanted to know, why has Kathy Page's murderer not been arrested? So first they kind of started small. It was like Vidor police botched the case, waiting for confession. This could happen to you, but they did escalate over the years. So one of them said, this is Orange County, city of Vidor. Here you get by with brutally murdering a woman. Oh. Another said, Vidor's garbage dump park, security provided by the local police department. I believe my daughter was being raped while she was strangled to death in 1991. The Vidor Police Department would not accept outside help, and the case has never been solved. I believe the police department did not want to solve this case. Will you be the next unsolved murder? Predators love parks. The Vidor Police Department that did not solve my daughter's murder will be assisting you with any complaints or problems of this so-called park. James Fulton.
Honestly, I love it. I love the energy. Tell him what's up, man.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm just going to say it. Yeah. In Vidor, he got by with murder, found responsible for wife's death in civil court. Appeals court upheld conviction. Pleaded guilty to desecrating her grave. Criminal case, no arrest. We're going to talk about that.
Oh, my God.
Then the last one, there were more, but this last one we'll talk about. Steve Page brutally murdered his wife in 1991. Vidor PD does not want to solve this case. I believe they took a bribe. the attorney general should investigate Jim Fulton, her father.
Oh my God.
So obviously lots of people were like, holy shit, this is crazy. So like, it started stirring up like media attention.
Yeah.
Obviously a movie was based off of it, all of these things. And they have gone on for decades. You know, there have been new police chiefs, there have been new, you know, all kinds of new things. But I mean, so far, nothing has been definitively proven.
Wow.
Nothing really ends up changing in the criminal investigation. So Kathy's family decided in late 1999 and on into 2000 that they would bring a civil case against Steve for wrongful death.
Mm-hmm.
They claimed that Steve was liable for Kathy's death, that his actions or failure to act caused her wrongful death. Now, you know this. The civil case does not require proof beyond a reasonable doubt, which we do need in criminal cases.
Right.
But rather preponderance of the evidence. So just is it more likely than not
Yes.
that this occurred? So it is a much, much, much lower standard.
Yes.
It is much easier to win these cases. And the outcome is money.
Yeah.
There are no, person doesn't go
no
to jail.
Time. Yeah. No time.
Yeah, there's none of that. While the full trial transcript is not publicly accessible, court records and appellate decisions reveal several of the arguments used by the Fultons and evidence that was considered sufficient under the civil standards. We have the circumstances of Kathy's death, the scene in the ditch, the car's minimal damage, the blood on her skin and underwear, but not on her outer clothing, which suggests she was killed elsewhere or put in the vehicle. Yeah. Steve Page's relationship with Kathy had been strained. Kathy and Steve were separated at the time of her death. The jury in civil court heard testimony that supported the staging of the scene, that Kathy was likely killed elsewhere, cleaned, redressed, placed back in the car.
Yeah.
They did find him liable for Kathy's wrongful death, and damages were awarded in the sum of $150,000. Steve did appeal, arguing, among other points, that the evidence was insufficient to support a finding of liability. The Court of Appeals did uphold the verdict.
Good.
But obviously this does not amount to a criminal conviction.
Right.
And it doesn't really get anything going on a criminal investigation either. I mean, the criminal case, as we stand now, no indictment, no trial. There were grand juries that were convened. They didn't indict. And
okay. Well, I mean, they
didn't collect any evidence.
Yeah, I was going to say they don't have any evidence.
Exactly.
I mean, they had it. Anything. They had the opportunity to get it, and they didn't.
No.
Unfortunately, I think that was the correct decision for the grand jury to not indict, because had they indicted, he would have been found not guilty because there wouldn't have been anything. Right. And that's one of those that on the off chance that something comes up, you want to hold on to that.
Exactly. You want to be able to win that case.
Right. Exactly.
You've got to, yeah.
Now,
in the years that followed, Kathy's grave was being like vandalized, and Kathy's family was like, what the fuck? Like, they would put flowers on it. Somebody was coming by and like kicking them. They were like messing up stuff around the grave, putting stuff there, whatever. So the family put a camera up.
Okay.
That old Steve didn't fucking know about.
And
so there he is on camera desecrating her grave. And so he gets arrested for that.
Why?
Exactly. He was fined. He was given probation. He said he was just angry because she left them, essentially, like angry that she had died.
Okay.
And angry that she was having an affair, you know, while they were still, like, he was upset at her quote unquote infidelity. Again, I don't know. I don't know if it was like they were separated and both seeing other people.
Yeah.
Reportedly, he had a string of infidelities. I don't know if she did or not, but he just tried to act like he was just angry. Again, that is not definitive proof that he killed her.
No,
but that is real. You put that up against all the other stuff that it's like, well, that by itself isn't proof, and that by itself isn't proof. Now you got like a lot of shit that you're like,
yeah,
yikes, you know?
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers have added Kathy's case to their cold case page, but again, I mean, nobody collected any evidence in the beginning, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But, you know, another sad thing about this case, so Kathy and Steve had 2 daughters. Now, Steve ended up moving them from Texas to somewhere in Tennessee. Just a few years after she died, I think. They ended up going to live with his either parents or his sister or something. Like, he ended up meeting some other woman and like starting a family with her, and kind of just like done with them sort of thing.
Cool.
Sadly, one of their daughters passed away of possibly a drug overdose several years ago. The other daughter is still alive. She actually had a blog about the billboards. The billboards, and I can understand this, really pissed her off.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. I can see that. Because that's her dad.
Yeah, that's her dad. And for them, they did not want to be reminded of their mother's brutal murder all the time.
Yeah.
And around Kathy's family, that's all they got.
Yeah.
And so Steve kind of ended up like they don't have a relationship with Kathy's family or didn't.
Yeah.
I
hate that.
I don't know if the surviving daughter believes at this point that Steve did anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she certainly did not appreciate all the billboards. They did not have a relationship with Kathy's family.
Yeah.
And Kathy's, dad for sure has kind of carried that torch, and that's sort of his driving force. So I understand that from her.
Yeah.
Too.
That's
and
rough
from them.
all
Like
around.
that's too much for us. We don't want to go that way. But they don't, at least she doesn't at this point, from what I understand, have a relationship with Steve either. And the Vidor police chief now has issued a public statement. He urged anyone with any information, any details, no matter how small, to come forward. He emphasized the technology has advanced,
Yeah.
And he also said, somebody knows something. Secrets don't stay buried forever.
Looking at you, Steve.
And so, surely, if he did do this, surely he has said
something to someone
or done
at some
something.
point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
who knows?
I don't know. But that's it. It's unsolved, and it was so solvable.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
that's it.
I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll see you next Tuesday. Yeah.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye. If you like this episode, be sure to like this episode and follow the show so that you never miss out on new episodes. Get in on the conversation on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us at Killer Queens Pod, or you can join our Facebook discussion group at Killer Queens Podcast, where we discuss cases covered on the show and all things 90s. If you want to submit a case to be covered on the show, visit killerqueenspodcast.com/case submission and just complete the form. And if we cover the case, we'll give you a shout out on the show. Lilas.